overnight. Cameco strikes a deal worth billions of dollars with India. Reaction in Regina to the conflict in Iran. And motorists can expect a steep increase at the gas pumps.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. Saskatchewan MLAs return to the legislature today for its spring sitting, but all eyes on India, where Premier Scott Moe and the Prime Minister announced a major deal for uranium ore. Sierra D'Souza Butts has more on what the agreement means for the province and why the Sask NDP feel not enough was done on this trip to stop tariffs from India on pulses.
Cameco, a Saskatoon-based uranium company, will be supplying 22 million pounds of uranium ore to India over the next 9 years. The long-term agreement follows the Prime Minister's trade mission to India, along with Premier Scott Moe.
And it's going to be good for the electricity outbuild here in India, as well as good for the economy and good for, in particular, northern Saskatchewan and Canada, I would say, as well.
The announcement comes on the same day as MLAs are returning back to the legislature for its spring sitting. The province's Minister of Trade and Export Development says the deal will help stabilize the amount of uranium exports.
That certainly helps them in developing their business plans for the next 10 years. Certainly helps them do their capital planning and their employment, building up their employment numbers and certainly their investment in the north.
However, the Saskatchewan NDP says more needs to be done.
On surface, this sounds like it was a good deal. Two things that I had said when they left. I think it's important that they get a deal on the P tariffs. That would be very beneficial, especially, at this time of year.
The other, Beck says, is for Saskatchewan to get its fair share of infrastructure dollars from the federal government.
Saskatchewan is Canada's biggest trading partner right now with India, and I just foresee so many other new opportunities coming when Canada is able to solidify that trade deal with India.
Although discussions about creating a pulse protein center of excellence in India were mentioned by Moe, talks about tariffs on Canadian peas and lentils are expected as Canada and India plans to reach a trade deal by the end of the year. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
The province is also increasing the amount of primary care nurse practitioners that can provide public care services in Saskatchewan. Now, in the first round of hiring last year, the province signed contracts with 23 nurse practitioners that believed to have served about a minimum of 18,000 people. The application process, organized by the Ministry of Health, has already begun, with the deadline for this round on March the 30th. Well, dozens of Iranians living in Regina were at the Legislative Building on the weekend celebrating the U.S.-Israeli-led attack on the Supreme Leadership Authority in Iran. But not everyone is happy, as a small group of peace activists voiced their concern at City Hall today. Damian Smith has the details.
The Regina Peace Alliance taking to City Hall protesting Canada's support of the United States attack on Iran, making it clear that foreign interference is not the way to go, especially when lives are lost.
Oh, I wish the people of Iran all the best. I mean, peace and justice to them too. But I'm not sure we're going to get there by the U.S. bombing.
Monday's rally striking a different type of tone at City Hall compared to on Saturday, when the Saskatchewan Iranian community gathered at the Legislative Building to celebrate the potential for hope and freedom in their home country.
Everything's clear. Now we have a clear path forward. So, yeah, people believe on this, and we are all happy that after 47 years, this brutal regime, we can have a freedom, we can have a free election.
According to the Persian Club Center of Regina, Iranians in Saskatchewan have largely left their home country due to the Islamic regime, which has been running since 1979.
There is lots of business owners in Canada, which they moved to Canada. It wasn't about money lifestyle. It was about democracy. I just give you the one small example about one simple democracy. Or hijab, somebody doesn't want to do the hijab. That's your choice.
According to the Iran Red Crescent Society, at least 555 people have been killed across the country since Saturday. Damian Smith, CTV News, Regina.
While the conflict itself is on the other side of the world, it will soon have an impact here in Saskatchewan. As Stacey Hine tells us, prices at the pumps are expected to rise sharply in coming days.
As conflict in Iran intensifies, Saskatchewan drivers can likely expect to pay more at the pumps. Oil prices jumped about 7% when markets opened, following significant escalation in parts of the Middle East, including a drone attack targeting a major oil refinery in Saudi Arabia. Even though Saskatchewan has its own refineries, an economics professor says local gas prices are still tied closely to the international price of crude.
All the oil is benchmarked through Brent crude, and so anything that impacts sort of oil supply broadly does impact the prices that are paid then.
Another driver of higher prices is oil transport. The Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping route for about a fifth of the world's oil, is facing major disruptions. Devin Maskell notes that insurance companies are starting to refuse coverage for ships in the region.
All of a sudden, we will see a large slowdown in the amount of oil that's moved out of that region, and that will continue to have an impact on our gas prices all the way here in Saskatoon.
Here at home, drivers are feeling the pinch at the pumps, and the thought of higher prices isn't sitting well.
I drive every day, so yeah, it's getting really expensive.
It seems like every time you go down the street, the price is up every day.
Maskell says the key concern for consumers is how high prices will go and how long they'll stick around. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
More than 3 years after being convicted of first-degree murder in the deaths of Jordan Denton and Keenan Toto, Dylan Whitehawk was back in court for a retrial after a successful appeal. Mick Favel has more from day one in this new murder trial.
A 12-person jury has been selected, and the retrial of Dylan Whitehawk is now underway. Whitehawk is facing 2 counts of first-degree murder for the 2019 deaths of Jordan Denton and Keenan Toto. They were both gunned down 3 weeks apart in the North Central neighborhood. A Regina Police Service patrol officer was the first to take the stand. She was on the scene of the first shooting on November 9th. The officer recalls arriving to the 800 block of Robinson Street and finding Denton on the ground, wounded and unresponsive. Life-saving measures were taken but were unsuccessful. In 2022, Whitehawk was tried and convicted for both murders by a jury, receiving life in prison without the chance of parole for 25 years. Whitehawk successfully filed an appeal that went all the way to the Supreme Court. He has pled not guilty to both charges. 40 witnesses are listed to testify, and the trial is expected to last 3 weeks. Mick Favel, CTV News, Regina.
One person is dead after a house fire Sunday in the city of Regina. It happened at a home on a 1300 block of Ostrana Street at around 5:30 in the morning. The person has been identified and their family notified, but no further details are being released. The investigation into the death and the fire is underway, and if you have information, you can call police or Crime Stoppers. Saskatchewan RCMP are speaking out after an officer was nearly hit by a semi during a traffic stop on the number 1 highway. Police say it happened over the weekend near Grand Coulee, just east of Regina on Saturday afternoon. The officer was walking back to their vehicle when they saw a semi headed directly towards them at highway speed and was not moving into the passing lane. The officer ran to the ditch, narrowly avoiding the semi hitting his truck and serious injury. Police say the driver was issued 2 tickets, one for driving without due care and attention, and one for driving without reasonable consideration for others. 4 people have been arrested after a one-day targeted enforcement project by Regina Police on retail theft. Police carried out the operation at 2 businesses in Regina's North End last week, both frequent targets for theft and robbery. The suspects were arrested after they were seen leaving the business without paying for items, including electronics, office supplies, spray paint, a watch, and other items. A 5th person was arrested on warrants. Police say it's part of a renewed focus on retail theft. Well, starting today, you can only pay for parking in downtown Regina through a mobile pay-by-phone app. Parking meters downtown will no longer accept coin or cash payments as the city moves forward to a fully app-based system. Following the City of Regina's council meeting, Mayor Chad Bashinsky told reporters the city will be working with residents to help them navigate the new process. And fresh from her TeleMiracle days, it is Sabine with our first look at weather. Pretty good weekend for you.
Yeah, not bad. I was laughing because fresh, I'm running on fumes right now, so maybe not fresh, but certainly a great weekend. I know you're going to talk more about it, but very grateful to be a part of that. And I'm going to be honest, I was in a TeleMiracle bubble for a week, so I wasn't really paying attention to the weather, but we're seeing a lot of roller coaster temperature-wise when we see what's to come. We're going to see some highs, some lows, and even some snow depending on where you are. But if we take a look at today's temperatures, we did warm up to -2. The average is about -3, -4. So still looking at above seasonal temperatures when we take a look at the almanac. And compared to last year, we're not quite there at the above zero mark, but that will be changing as we head into tomorrow. And I will have more information coming up on that. In terms of active weather, a little bit of that snow coming through parts of central Saskatchewan, but current temperatures in southern Saskatchewan looking quite nice right now. Wind chill also playing a factor, but I'll talk more about that, like I said, coming up in your full forecast.
All right, thank you, Sabine. Organizers of TeleMiracle 50 were hoping to mark the golden anniversary of their fundraiser special and make it really great. And boy, did Saskatchewan come through. As Hallie Mandrick tells us, the telethon raised a record amount, $2.5 million more than their previous record.
It was a record-breaking year for TeleMiracle 50. The golden anniversary raised a total of $10,521,072 for the Kinsman Foundation, marking the highest total that the telethon ever seen.
This is wonderful. I really think that seeing the progression all the way along the line, the people are still great, and we are still serving the community's greatest need.
This year saw an individual contribution of more than $2.3 million through a planned giving donation from Alice Tyndall, a lifelong supporter of TeleMiracle who died in 2023 at the age of 91.
That's incredible.
Morel has been a volunteer for 47 of TeleMiracle's 50 years. He says the impressive total is a reflection of the sense of community which runs through all of Saskatchewan.
That is a reflection of the pioneer spirit that we have, neighbors helping neighbors all the way along the line.
It's a sentiment that keeps many volunteers returning year after year.
It's super. Like, it's amazing how people open their hearts and their wallets. Like, this is just the greatest. Like, it's the best thing that I ever got into.
Many are also working to ensure the next generation is finding things to love about TeleMiracle.
Probably like getting my jersey autographed by and the picture by the Grey Cup. To be honest, I'm just excited to go in the audience and watch.
So the Saskatchewan tradition can carry on for decades to come.
I don't think that there is a telethon anywhere that has lasted longer. I'm not sure of that. So, yeah, there's a lot of pride there.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
And speaking of milestone celebrations, Luther Collegiate High School is marking a century in the Queen City. Now today, the institution welcomes Saskatchewan's Lieutenant Governor along with several alumni to mark the occasion. Jacob Carr has more.
A full house inside Merlis Belcher Heritage Center as former and current students of Luther College High School celebrate 100 years on Royal Street. The school's newest president, Thomas Phoenix, who took on the role in July, says he has big shoes to fill to carry on their proud tradition.
Ultimately, there was a winning formula at this high school that has served, these communities well, that we need to make sure we don't forget. And in fact, what we want to do is enhance it, to build on it.
The school was originally established as Luther Academy in 1913 in Melville before rebranding as a college and moving to Regina in 1926. The now high school building at 1500 Royal Street has seen more than 40,000 students walk through its halls in the past century. And for alumni like 1983 graduate Lisa Smith, who grew up in rural Saskatchewan, her years at the school were memorable.
40 years plus later, I still said it was the best 2 years that my parents could have given me. It was that sense of community. It was living with other people. It was struggling through things as you're living away at the age of 15 years old with a bunch of other students.
Smith's friend, Sarah Hansen, is a fellow Luther graduate in the class of 1988, but that's not the only thing the two have in common.
We've both been parents of children here as well, so having our children
children graduated not that long ago, and watching with pride as they became part of that same community and built that love for the school that just never ends.
Phoenix says he has lofty aspirations for the future of the school and where he wants it to be when another 100 years have passed.
I want, Luther College High School to be the place that you want to send your children when you want your children to have a community of care that's going to prepare them for the world better than any other place in this province.
Luther has multiple events planned to celebrate its centennial, including a special homecoming in October. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Well, if you're on certain Saskatchewan roadways over the next few days, be prepared to slow down as a semi with unusually large cargo is traveling through. This house and its garage will be making an about 200-kilometer trip from Le Jour to an area just west of Strasbourg. According to the Ministry of Highways, the building movers, the house is about 60 feet wide, 80 feet long, and 40 feet high.
We've done things heavier. We've done things larger in dimension and taller. This move has it all. It's heavy, it's wide, it's long, it's going a long distance.
The 3-day move will cover sections or crossings on Highway 1, 22, and 6 around Regina, expected to pass by the city Wednesday and cross Highway 10. Now, the province says the highway hotline will offer updates on the convoy's location once it starts moving Tuesday morning. You can also find more details about the exact route on our website. Still ahead, the latest on the conflict in Iran spreading throughout the Middle East. And after signing several deals, Mark Carney invites India's Prime Minister to visit Canada. A warning from U.S. President Donald Trump of bigger strikes as the U.S. and Israel again target Iran today. Iran retaliating, lobbing hundreds of missiles at U.S. bases and Arab states like Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar. Meanwhile, Iranians fleeing the country to neighboring Turkey. Adrian Gobriel has the latest on this third day of the conflict.
Unrelenting and punishing, just 3 days into this U.S.-Israeli-led military campaign against Iran, and the number of countries being pulled into this war is growing. Blasts echoed across Beirut today. Israel's military confirming it struck Hezbollah targets in Lebanon after the Iranian-backed group says it launched rockets and drones of their own into the Israeli city of Haifa. Visiting the site of a missile strike on a synagogue west of Jerusalem, where at least 9 people were killed, Israel's prime minister says he warned the world that Iran was capable of attacking Western allies.
I stand here in a place that was bombarded by the terrorists in Tehran against innocent civilians. You see the difference. The tyrants of Tehran target civilians. We target the tyrants of Tehran to protect civilians.
Though inside Iran, Red Crescent workers there say more than 500 people have been killed, including children, who died here following an airstrike that struck a school. In the early morning hours, multiple flashes can be seen in the sky as a drone strike hits a British Royal Air Force base in Cyprus. This coming just as the U.S. has been granted permission to use British military bases for defensive strikes on Iranian missile sites. In Kuwait, a U.S. fighter jet is seen spiraling to the ground, one of 3 American F-15s shot out of the sky following a friendly fire incident. An oil refinery in Saudi Arabia was shut down today after it was hit by an Iranian drone. Iran's newly formed Leadership Council says it won't negotiate with the U.S. administration as the war widens its reach.
But this is war.
Istanbul University political science professor Kivak Yusaloy says many in the region are still waiting for Israel and the United States to present a credible case for setting off this war with Iran.
Turkish government nowadays does not want to be seen siding with Israel in an attack against Iran. An unjustified attack, by the way. A lack of public diplomacy in all senses, from the side of U.S. and from the side of Israel.
Well over 1,000 targets have been hit across Iran. Israel has argued that this was a preemptive attack. The only certainty, this full-scale war is escalating at an alarming rate.
Here in Turkey, President Tayyip Erdogan has called the attacks on Iran a clear violation of international law. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Istanbul.
The Prime Minister has wrapped up his trip to India after he and India's Prime Minister pledged to sign an economic partnership agreement by the end of the year. The trip being described as a diplomatic breakthrough. But questions of Indian interference in Canada are not going away. Abigail Bimman, has the latest.
Prime Ministers Mark Carney and Narendra Modi launch a new phase of the Canada-India relationship, and Carney invited Modi to visit Canada.
There has been more engagement between the Canadian and Indian governments in the last year than there has been in more than 2 decades combined.
We will turn ideas into global solutions.
Announcing 5 memorandums of understanding on energy and AI and 10 commercial deals, including a highly anticipated $2.6 billion deal to sell uranium from Saskatchewan to India.
It's going to be good for the electricity outbuild here in India, as well as good for the economy and good for, in particular, northern Saskatchewan and Canada, I would say, as well.
The pair committed to finalizing a new broad trade deal by the end of the year.
Business loves certainty, and particularly at a time like this where uncertainty is rampant. Trade agreements give us some confidence that we can invest in each other's countries.
Carney has not taken any questions since a government official suggested Wednesday India was no longer actively carrying out foreign interference or transnational repression, and canceled the first media availability of the trip today, blaming scheduling. The Foreign Affairs Minister for the first time gave a clearer assessment of the comments.
The words of the senior official are not words that I personally would use. I agree with his comments relating to the guardrails that we have in place.
But the bilateral relationship has become so warm, Canada welcomed Indian government officials, including the High Commissioner, onto the Prime Minister's plane from Mumbai to New Delhi. Carney's office said Modi accepted the invitation, but there's no timeline for a visit to Canada. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, New Delhi.
Canada's largest public sector union has filed a grievance as the Carney government moves to slash the size of the federal civil service by 28,000 positions by 2029. The Public Service Alliance of Canada said it's made the grievance claim over a early retirement incentive program offered to thousands of workers. PSAC says it supports any effort to prevent involuntary layoffs, but it says the offers circumvent key obligations under existing collective agreements. The union called for a pause so consultations could take place, and while alternative positions are sought for potentially impacted employees. The government says the retirement incentives aren't available until the budget implementation bill becomes law. And the only total lunar eclipse of 2026 is set to take place early tomorrow morning. The celestial event, also known as a blood moon, could be visible in Saskatchewan beginning just after 2:40 a.m. The eclipse will be at its peak around 5:30 a.m., depending on the cloud cover. A total lunar eclipse happens when the Earth passes directly between the sun and moon, casting a large shadow onto the moon and blocking the sun's rays. The Canadian Space Agency says that unlike a solar eclipse, the lunar eclipse is safe to observe with the naked eye. Coming up, a look at the tourist attraction the community of Flin Flon hopes will make the area a winter destination.
Saskatoon is no longer free of Dutch elm disease. Tuesday on Your Morning, what got us here, what's next, and can they get rid of it again? Make sure it doesn't happen elsewhere.
Welcome back. We're starting to see those wind chill values get a little cooler than what we were seeing earlier. I mean, as of right now, it was the wind chill value of -9, and now it's -10. Let's take a look at our temperature. -4, still within that seasonal range, but the warmest we got, as we saw in the almanac earlier, was -1.6. And we're going to see a nice shift heading into tomorrow. We still have those extreme cold warnings up in the north, wind chill values of -45 to 50, continuing into about midweek. And we do have pockets of flurries that we did see coming through parts of central northern Saskatchewan throughout parts of today as well. There is continuing there is continued snow as we head into the next couple of days. You can see heading into this evening, Prince Albert's still going to see more of that snow. Now, the heavier snowfall is looking like around the Hudson Bay, Prince Albert area, and we will see some accumulation get into the double digits over the next couple of days as well. Southern Saskatchewan, not looking too bad. It's looking like we'll see mostly trace amounts. You can see where that snow is making its way through as we take a look at what's to come on this tracker here. By Tuesday morning, we're still seeing it's just cloud cover where we got to worry about, which isn't that big of a deal, although I know many people are ready for some sunshine. We did see some sunshine today compared to Saskatoon as I just drove in, and I didn't realize that there was such a difference because like I said, I haven't been paying attention. Much cooler in Saskatoon than in Regina today, and that is a theme that we will see heading into tomorrow as well. We will start to see the winds pick up midweek as well, and this is the area by Wednesday evening into Thursday that we will start to see some precipitation. So as of right now in the Swift Current area, looking like it's mostly rain, freezing rain, Regina, snow, and some freezing rain, and then that'll turn into more freezing rain and snow by the time we start our day on Thursday. So mostly Wednesday night into Thursday morning is when we can expect to see that precipitation making its way through southern Saskatchewan. In terms of accumulation, though, this is what we've got going on. So between now into tomorrow morning, you're seeing mostly northern Saskatchewan affected by the snow, and it's not until, as we saw on the tracker, we get into Wednesday night and into Thursday morning, this is what we're looking at for total. So 1 centimeter for Moose Jaw, up to 2 for Regina, 1 for Weyburn. Yorkton could see a little bit more there, 9 centimeters expected for snowfall in Hudson Bay, up to 14 centimeters, while Saskatoon and North Battleford could see 2 centimeters of snow, possibly up to 3 by the time we get into Thursday afternoon. So given that, you're going to take a look at these temperatures coming up in your 7-day forecast, and maybe you won't worry so much because we've got some really nice conditions coming up. But tonight, northern Saskatchewan, as we already saw, seeing much cooler temperatures heading into Lloydminster, -12 with some flurries. Tomorrow, Prince Albert, -10 and some light snow. -8 and cloudy for North Battleford, cloudy, and -6 for Saskatoon. Yorkton, -4 and cloudy within that seasonal range for the Yorkton area. Maple Creek tomorrow, +10 with a mix of sun and cloud, +9 for Swift Current, a mix of sun and cloud, and +5 for Moose Jaw with a mix of sun and cloud. The southeast looking at similar temperatures, a little cooler in the Weyburn area, still above 0, 3 degrees cloudy, 4 and cloudy for Estevan, Assiniboia +8 and a mix of sun and cloud. For Regina tonight, dipping to -9, still warmer than seasonal. Winds picking up to 30 kilometers an hour, and then tomorrow +4 is the expected daytime high. Mainly sunny conditions and wind, not too bad, anywhere between 5 to 15 kilometers an hour. And here's a look at your next 7 days. So there is, I see, I'm not on my game. There's no Pats game. Ignore the Pats game, so we'll just cover that up. There is snow expected on Thursday. Tomorrow, as we already saw, 4 degrees, mainly sunny, cloudy, and -5 on Wednesday. And then I get emails being upset that I have a game when there's no game there. So that was my mistake. Thursday, snow, -4, -1, mainly sunny on Friday. Saturday, +7 is the expected high. Winds picking up to 40, and then Sunday is the windiest day there. Winds up to 60, but we're still seeing above 0 temperatures as we get into Monday, and that's all I've got for you.
Interesting. Yeah, 7 degrees. Temperature starting to warm up because we're getting close to April and May. And where are we going with those temperatures?
Higher. It's just in my DNA now.
Warmer.
Oh, sorry. Up.
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 Thanks.
I'm tired.
Enjoy the Pats game. A creative winter initiative is helping turn a frozen resource into a warm economic boost for Flin Flon area. Now, a new snow lodge drawing attention from around the world, including everyone in Saskatchewan. As Carla Shinkaruk found out, with wildfires threatening summer tourism in the region, there's a push right now to encourage winter visits to the area.
One of Canada's only snow lodges.
What may look like simple blocks of ice are actually the building blocks of a bigger winter vision in Flin Flon.
It's living up to its promise because it is profoundly beautiful.
But not just that. This is one of Canada's only snow lodges and is helping to strengthen tourism. But the idea has skeptics because the area has seen such devastation due to wildfires.
This is exactly what we should be doing, is showing resilience and showing the world that even if you go through tough times, you can absolutely do something perhaps a little crazy, but wonderful and fascinating and with excellence.
And travel writer writer Ashlyn George gives the community huge kudos for taking this on.
To take advantage of our winter season with all the activities that you can do is something that I think more communities need to do. I think Flin Flon, Denair Beach, and Creighton are leading the way when it comes to supporting people who want to come up for winter tourism.
And this engineering marvel built at the local campground required clear ice. The search for that perfect ice led them just meters away.
Well, let me go check this pond that's right near where our project's going to be, and nobody ever thought that would be the place where we're going to use it from.
By sourcing the ice locally, crews streamlined the process and reduced costs, carefully cutting and moving each 100-kilogram block into place. The project incorporates Indigenous artists with history of trapping in the area also represented. The Snow Lodge is already gaining national and international attention with inquiries coming in.
It's a really beautiful beacon of hope and resilience after such a tough year.
It's hoped that an overnight accommodation will be added in the coming years also. Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Still ahead, Mike McEwen's rink from Saskatoon looks to stay in the top 3 of his pool at the Brier with a win this afternoon against Northern Ontario. It was a battle of the McEwens at the Montana's Brier in St. John. Saskatchewan's Mike McEwen, starting with an MC, faced off against Northern Ontario's Sandy McEwen. That starts with M-A-C.
Okay, right? Line's great. We're there. Yep. Clean. We're there. Clean. Just clean it then. Clean it then.
That's why he's number 2.
Yeah, he's number 2 at draw so far in the week for the Brier, but good start. Draw for 2 in the first end. It was a defensive battle after that. 3-1 Saskatchewan in the 8th. Northern Ontario trying to double takeout for 1. But he only clears 1. It's going to be a steal for Saski. 4-1 at that point. Saskatchewan wins 5-1. They improve to 3-1. They'll play New Brunswick tomorrow morning. In the morning draw, Kelly Knapp and his Regina rink look to improve their record to 2-1 as they took on Team Quebec.
Late night, curl, Matty.
You saw him tighten up the ice from the hack.
Go. You got it.
Trying to carve this over, remove it, hold the shooter. Well done.
That hit and stick in 9 gave Knapp and crew the 7-6 lead. But in the 10th then, Sask line 1. All Quebec's final thrower, Felix Asselien, has to do is chip the Sask stone out. And he does exactly that. Tough loss for Saskatchewan. They fall 8-7. That drops their record to 1-2. They will play Prince Edward Island tonight. Well, there's just a few weeks left in the SJHL regular season, and the Yorkton Terriers have climbed all the way into second place thanks to a 19-4 record after the Christmas break. As Frashina DeClute tells us, a trio of players have led the offensive charge, all of them in the league's top 4 in scoring.
As the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League's regular season enters its final weeks, 3 Yorkton Terriers players are near the top of the points race.
It's just a tremendous honor to be up there with a lot of guys, and there's a lot of good players in the league, so it's pretty special.
Zawadzki, a hometown left-winger, is currently 3rd on the SJHL leaderboard with 69 points.
It's a dream come true. My uncle used to coach a team when I was really little, and my cousin played as well, so there's a lot of history for the Zawadzkis here, and I'm happy to play for the team.
At the top of the list is Terriers forward, Quebec-born Gabriel Corshane, with 73 points. A former QMJHL player, he joined the team this season.
Well, I had my friend William that was here last year, and so I wanted to play with him this year, so it was easier to join this team.
Despite being far away from his home province, he's enjoying his time in Yorkton.
It's really amazing. The city's nice. The fans are always coming to games. We always have a lot of people here, and it's always a fun time to play in here.
Hard work paying off. With both individual points totals and team success, the Terriers are the top team in their division and 2nd overall in the SJHL.
We're usually going to the gym at 8:15, and then we're going to the rink for an hour and a half practice, and then school.
Like most players, Terriers also dream of joining a pro team someday.
I've always wanted to be a professional player, so if I can get my schooling and degree after junior, and then hopefully go on to play pro.
The Terriers are one of 5 teams locked into a playoff spot so far, along with Weyburn, Battleford, Nipawin, and the first-place Flin Flon Bombers. Frashina DeClute, CTV News, Yorkton.
Still ahead, Regina police need your help to catch a fraudster.
They missed me. Welcome back. We're going to take a look at your rural forecast heading into tomorrow. So we already saw on the weather tracker earlier that there is snow on the way, and that's going to be mostly into central northern Saskatchewan. You can actually see that band of snow making its way through for areas like Lloydminster, Spiritwood, Melfort, Hudson Bay. Spiritwood, Melfort -12 with snow, -11 for Lloydminster and snow, and -8 in snow for Hudson Bay. -15 and cloudy for Meadow Lake. And then we start to see the warm up as we get more into central southern Saskatchewan there. -1 for Kindersley, cloudy, -6 for Wynyard and Watrous, and -4 for Outlook. Nothing but cloud cover tomorrow for the area. And then the closer we get to the southern border, we see a little bit more sunshine. So, and those temperatures climbing above zero. +10 for Maple Creek and Coronach with a mix of sun and cloud. 5 degrees for Leader, -3 for Rosetown, 4 degrees for Lumsden and Pilot Butte, mainly sunny there, -6 for Kenora. This is a whole mixed bag here. 8 degrees for East Sun Cypress, Rockland, Assiniboia, and Broadview, -1, and 0 for Carlisle. If we take a closer look at Central Butte, where internet speeds up to 1 gig are available through SaskTel, located about 170 kilometers northeast, just slightly northeast of Regina. 5 degrees is the expected daytime high with a mix of sun and cloud. We'll feel closer to about 3 degrees.
The incidents happened between October and November of 2025. A woman attended 2 different locations in the city of Regina and purchased several $1,000s worth of gift cards using 2 separate business accounts. The woman has since been using these gift cards to make fraudulent purchases at several locations around the city. The suspect is described as a woman with likely dyed blonde hair and of medium build. If you know who she is, call Crime Stoppers.
I'm Constable Dana Adams with the Regina Police Service. Did you know that Crime Stoppers will pay up to $2,000 cash reward for information on this or any other serious crime in Regina? Callers do not have to identify themselves. Calls are not traced or recorded. In Regina, Saskatchewan, and Canada, call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. That's 1-800-222-8477. You can also access our website at www.reginacrimestoppers.ca. Remember, our community suffers when you remain silent. Please report crime.
Crime Stoppers is brought to you by Leak Audiology, helping you live well with better hearing.
For 4 years, skateboarders have headed to the indoor park at the Real District to have a quick little hard flip sesh, but no more. As Damien Smith tells us, the Regina Skateboard Coalition is now looking for a new place.
It was time, and I'll leave it at that.
After 4 years in operation, Regina skateboarders gathered at Heritage Skate Park for the final time on Saturday.
I'm very upset that we're losing the space. It's very important. You can see all the people that are here right now that are trying to get in their last skate. But I feel like the biggest loss is for the kids that started skating here. It's their comfortable space, the place that they feel welcome, and then they're able to try anything and ask questions while doing it.
As the only indoor skate park in Regina, the loss means the end of year-round skateboarding in the city for now.
But it's a source of personal expression too. It's not. It borders between art and sport. It's neither that nor the other thing. It's very interesting how a person's personality comes through with just the way that they push, the way that their body expresses themselves with their trick selection. Once I hit high school, it was like skateboarding, and like that was it. Like that was, yeah, skateboarding's been the love of my life ever since.
There are several outdoor skateboarding locations in the city, such as Skater Skate Plaza, Rochdale Park, and Imperial Park. But until the snow melts, those passionate won't have many options to practice their ollies and kickflips.
You know, the people that love skateboarding will always have a place to skate. It just won't be when it's like 40 below outside.
As of right now, the Regina Skateboard Coalition is looking to get another indoor space by next winter. Damien Smith, CTV News, Regina.
Regina Ski Club hosted its 3rd annual Cider Day event on Sunday, looking to recruit new members and fundraise for Kinsman Park. As part of their yearly fundraising fixture, members from the club enjoyed the cross-country ski and walking trails while indulging in hot cups of cider, with the goal encouraging more people to use the park all year round. Volunteers fundraising to plant hundreds of low trees and shrubs.
We're hoping to fundraise $30,000 this year to plant about 200 low trees and shrubs in the park, just to help increase the biodiversity, attract birds, and help capture snow in the wintertime.
As winter is slowly coming to an end, residents encouraged to check the group's website at Regina Ski Club before heading out. All right, farm markets canola street price up 20 cents to $638.43 per ton, while the futures price is down $1.60 to $688.40 per ton. Amber durum wheat, it remained the same, $278.59 per ton. Red spring wheat is down 19 cents to $267.96 per ton. Feed barley, $232, 1 cent per ton, while flax is $650.54 per ton. Those prices courtesy of Bunge. As for the stock markets, the TSX went up 201 points, while the Dow Jones dropped by 73 points. The Canadian dollar, on the other hand, dropped 0.2 cents to 73.13 cents U.S. On the commodity front, gold up $43.20. West Texas Intermediate crude up $5.28. Western Canadian Select crude up $1.79 after the conflict we're seeing in Iran. And gas per liter, as you've probably seen at the pumps, it's gone up. Currently in Regina, at most places, it's $1.36.9 cents per liter.
Oil surged the most in 4 years as the escalating conflict is threatening oil supplies in one of the world's key producing regions. The Strait of Hormuz handles as much as 20% of the world's oil shipments. Brent futures topped $80 a barrel, and the surge leaves oil prices up about 30% so far this year. OPEC Plus has agreed to raise quotas next month by 206,000 barrels a day. Meanwhile, shares of Air Canada are down to end the day in a broad sell-off of the airline sector due to the conflict in the Middle East. Air Canada has issued a travel warning for the Middle East region and has suspended flights to Dubai and Tel Aviv. And shares of Cameco are trading higher after the company signed a uranium deal with India. This comes after Prime Minister Mark Carney just wrapped his trade trip to India. According to the PMO, the $2.6 billion deal will see Cameco supply 22 million pounds of uranium to India from 2027 to 2035. The deal is part of India's efforts to raise its nuclear power capacity. And those are your business headlines. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
Coming up tonight, it'll be Extracted, followed by Memory of a Killer. That's the new Patrick Dempsey.
Oh, I've seen the trailer for that.
Yeah. Rookie, Big Bang, E-Talk, boom.
Boom.
DQ Canada honoring a Saskatchewan franchisee owner for her work supporting the Jim Pattison Children's Hospital.
Yeah, Joanne Kerr from Moosomin has been named the 2025 Miracle Maker Award recipient, the first Saskatchewan franchisee owner to receive the honor. Joanne's store has raised more than $131,000 for the Jim Pattison Children's Hospital Foundation, more than $100,000 of that in the last 5 years alone. So congratulations to Joanne.
Yeah, some good work there.
Okay, believe it or not, heavy metal stars Megadeth were recently in Saskatoon. That's not the believe it or not part.
Right.
While they were there, they strapped on their skates and headed to the Meewasin rink.
Yeah, a video posted to YouTube shows the band playing their song Let There Be Shred. It's off their new self-titled album recently released. The video features guitarist Timu Matizara, I'm guessing, doing laps around a rink with downtown Saskatoon in the background. I saw them saying they should put shred skating into the Olympics in 4 years so that they can participate in it.
You know what? Give it time. I'm sure it could end up there.
I know Caitlin would like that from our newsroom.
She's
like
into that kind of stuff.
Any fun stories from TeleMiracle?
So many.
Not for you.